Hello guys, so today's topic is what are the day-to-day activities generally a clinical research coordinator does. So this video will be very useful for those who are willing or thinking to get into clinical research field, and will it not be nice if someone who themselves are into that field and they explain you the workflow at that place, what are the clinical research coordinator activities usually is done. Yes, and it would be very helpful for the students as the beginning stage, as because of lack of information, there is a anxiety and so many thoughts play into the mind that which field I have to go, which field doesn't suit me or will suit me. So I myself have been into this field, so as a clinical research coordinator for a while, so I feel I am the best person to tell the students what generally a clinical research coordinator does, what I used to do when I was a CRC at the site level. So let's get started. So before getting into the activities, let me briefly tell you, see, before a clinical trial is initiated into the site, that is the hospital, I assume that whoever is watching this video have before itself have got into NIDA certification, right? So the terms which I will be using, you will be very familiar. So with that in my mind, I will be talking and you will easily interpret it. And if you haven't, please just my previous videos where I have mentioned the NIDA about clinical trial free online certification, how you can get, and this will be useful for your interview purpose as well. Okay, so just see that. Okay, so get into our story. Yes, so before a site where a clinical trial has initiated, the first thing the sponsor does is they first try to select the best site where they will get the maximum number of participants for the study. Okay, so what they do is they search, for example, if a sponsor is trying to do a study on moderate to severe risk Crohn's disease patients they want to. So assume with the common sense, obviously the gastroenterologist will be having the more patients relevant to that category, right? So what they will be doing is they will be searching for the gastroenterologists, the famous ones, or the where the patients, more number of patients will come. So they will send the feasibility forms to the sites, where then what happens at the feasibility form, everything will be there, that about the physician name, address, and how many patients they can bring for this relevant study, how many number of patients will come annually with that particular criteria to them, who are the patients, and everything, the details they will be asked regarding the physician, their experience in the clinical trial and all. Okay, and medical registration number and as well. So after the feasibility form is filled, it is being sent to the sponsors. Now the sponsors will see all the feasibility forms, they will decide which which investigator, that is physician, is the best for them. After they are convinced with the number of subjects they can get from particular site, then they will send a representative from their side to the site. So then what happens at the site, they will see the infrastructure, they will see whether for my study all the resources and infrastructure is available. So after they have come and visit, then they get back to the sponsor, they will share their report to them. If the sponsor is satisfied with all the resources and infrastructure as well, then they will send site selection letter, they will send to the site. Then the site means hospital, so then the hospital will send this request that such a so and so sponsor with so and so study is interested in our hospital to conduct their study, so please see their protocol, informed consent form, and all the documents, study related info, to the ethics committee. Now the ethics committee will verify everything, whether it is fine and all, and then if the ethics committee say yes, we can do it, no problem with that. So what happens then, when they give a green light, then comes from the site to the sponsor, yeah, we are even our ethics committee is fine. So after that, this whole process is called pre-site selection visit. That I said, no, they will check and come, they will visit the infrastructure of the hospital and all. This is called pre-site selection visit. So after that, now the sponsor will send their team to the site, that is called site initiation visit. That visit, there they will bring along with them the dossier, a full bundle of documents. Okay, so they will bring, they will train the site staff, like what is the protocol, inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, number of subjects, what are the challenges, how to manage the study, if something happens what you have to do, how to respond, what is the timeline, how you have to maintain the documents, and so on. Okay, so after they are trained, then they go. And now comes the role of clinical research coordinator. Before that, I want you guys to be well aware that there are two types of coordinators at the site level. There, number one is ethics committee coordinator, ECC, and other one is CRC, clinical research coordinator. Now, ethics committee coordinator is the coordinator which coordinates with the ethics committee activities. For example, each ethics committee meeting has to be conducted for either approval of the protocol of the study, or for if certain safety problems even faces during the study is ongoing, that time EC meetings has to be conducted. So certain meetings of EC will be there, no? So that meetings is conducted, is managed by the ethics committee coordinator. Along with that, ethics committee coordinator makes sure that whatever the clinical research, whatever the study is going on the site, their documents have been approved, and the ethics committee is well versed with the updates of the study. So they, for every new certain information or certain activities has to be it has to be approved by the ethics committee. So for that, the site CRC will share those documents like safety reports, like every month COMS forms will be coming. That is, now I am talking about, typically I will say, generally whatever activities I will be telling now is typically done by all clinical research coordinators at any site, irrespective of their study, whether it is a BA/BE study, whether it is a IND study, that is investigational new drug study. BA/BE studies, the certain activities are minimized in compared to the IND studies, and the challenges will be also different. Like in IND studies, getting the subject is a challenge, a right subject, right participant, whereas in BA/BE studies, what happens, you will get easily lot of patients you will be provided, but managing them is a challenge. Okay, so their practical challenges will be differing, but the overall activities will be same. Okay, so why I am trying to convey all this information is so that you, though you have a theoretical knowledge of the field, if you have a practical information in your mind, you will be able to decide properly, and when you get into the industry, you will be practically well informed about all the practical experiences. Though you do not have a practical experience, you will have a awareness of practical knowledge, so you will be well equipped with the skills and easily adapt to the new environment, right? And better productivity will be there. So COMS reports will be coming monthly. So those reports has to be informed to the ethics committee, because it is a multi-centric trial, or different sites are showing side effects at certain sites. So that has to be well informed to all the sites as per the guidelines. So those forms will be sent to the ethics committee for their approval, or certain documents like protocol amendments, if certain happen, that has to be informed to the ethics committee. Their signatures are required. So all these things are coordinated between the site clinical research coordinator and EC coordinator to make sure everyone is well informed, everyone is on the same page. Okay, so this is the thing of EC coordinator. Now clinical research coordinator, after they are trained, they know what is the inclusion exclusion criteria for a particular patient. So now the real workflow, the process will come into picture. Okay, so what happens is, see, a patient comes to the physician, and I will be very practical that the physician is very busy in their OPs, and half day they will be in the OP and half day they will be in the ward rounds. Okay, so seeing a particular patient for a clinical trial, inclusion, exclusion and all those things, it will be somewhat time consuming, though they will know, but still it has to be rechecked. So once the physician calls the manager of the clinical research department that I think this person suit this study. Okay, so what they will do, they will just inform the manager. The manager will say to the coordinator, please go and check the medical history, their medical history of their medication or as well as their disease. So the coordinator goes, they will check all their the files they have, and then when they matches, then they go to the manager and they inform them, yes, it is, they are suitable candidate. Then the manager will give a green signal. Then what happens, then the screening of the subject will be done. Screening is nothing but when a participant is thought to be well fit to the study, they are being tested with all particular tests which have been present in the protocol, so that if any lab parameters, like for example hemoglobin levels for males and females should be this much is told, and if the patient is anemic, you cannot take to the study though they have met all the criteria, right? For that, for the latest data about the health status of the patient, one has to get the screening test, that is the test, so that there is a proof also that see this patient has met all the inclusion exclusion criteria and they are well fit for the study, and this is the status of the patient before administrating the investigation new drug. So this is the thing. So after the subject has been decided that they are fit for the study, they are being informed by the clinical research coordinator about all this, what is the study, what are the everything about the drug and how it will go on. If you are passed in the screening test, then this visits will be there. You have to come for 10 visits or 12 visits as per the protocol. So that will be happening. Okay, so after that, the informed consent form is been signed by the patient. If any doubts they have, they will be taken care by the coordinator. They will be shared all the information, and they will be given all safety, side effects, warnings and everything by the coordinator before the subject gets into the screening. Now after that, if the patient is still fine with moving forward, they will be signing the informed consent form. Their medical history, test reports, everything will be zero. Take a copy of their will be present at the site level, which is nothing but patient file. Okay, every subject who is enrolled for either for a screening, whether they are passed or failed, their patient files will be there at the site. The site will get the patient certain kits will be there for each visit. Screening kit, day 1 kit, day 2 kit, visit 12 kit, visit 10 kit, like that. The test kits will be there. In that, all the test tubes of different colors like yellow, grey, purple will be there. As a PharmD people, I hope you know. So those test tubes will be taken. The kit will be sent by the patient. Patient is told to get the blood samples from the phlebotomist. Then those test tubes will be filled with the blood sample. Now here another thing is, some sponsors are not trusting the site for certain tests. So what they do is TB test example. Okay, so what they do is certain tests, they say we will do those testings at the central laboratory of our interest, and other tests you do at the local laboratories. Okay, so the ones which are done to be local laboratories, those sample test tubes will be there with the phlebotomist. Their test reports whenever will come, we will get the reports. Coordinators will get the reports. They will take the Xerox. They will keep in the patient file. They will see all the inclusion criteria are met. Next, the central laboratory samples has to be sent by shipment. Here the challenge for the coordinator is that certain sample has to be kept in ambient, certain samples has to be kept in a frozen form. For the frozen temperature, what we used to do, as per the instructions, the packets were being provided of silica gel, and in a one big cover, which everything is provided by sponsor. water will be poured there, and the sachet of silica gel, as soon as we disperse that, it gets into a slime type form. It is very smooth. So the samples have been covered with those that packet, so that it remains in the temperature which has been specified, so that sample does not disintegrate, and tests are done as when they reach the required destination. So for that also, the coordinator has to mail the shipment person before, 1 day before itself, that so and so samples are there with us tomorrow, so please come at this time, so that he can come and pick it up. Before the shipment person comes, our samples are to be ready. For the challenge will be, like, for example, patient stool test will be required. So if the patient is saying, I am not able to get my stools, what will you do that time? So before only you have to make the patient prepared, that see, these tests are there tomorrow, so be well prepared, and we will do the testing at this time, please come. And sometimes the sponsor provides even laxative solution, so that that problem, okay, for that. So after the screening, whenever the reports come and it is fine, then it is a go signal that they are enrolled successfully into this study, and then they are being provided with the diary or a subject reminder that these are the days for your visit. Visit 1 day is this, visit fifth day visit is this, like that, okay, second visit, like that, so that the subject can make their plans accordingly, and they can come on time. Today's scenario, the diaries are electronic. Most of the time e-pads will be provided. How to operate, everything will be informed by the coordinator, and then when all the tests are done, but to the patients are being given, said okay, this is that, then after screening is finished and they go. Now coordinator activities start after the patient has gone, that is maintaining the documentation, like you will be maintaining the subject enrollment log, subject screening day visit log, or informed consent tracking log, where you will be writing you will not mention the subject names anywhere at the site, you will be calling them with their subject IDs, okay. So there the subject IDs, and which subject ID did they do informed consent, and all those things will be done. Now, so after they pass, next visit whenever they come, that time same thing will happen. The billing will be done by the coordinator, that bill will be taken by the patient will go to the reception, they will show it. In the reception they will be given an OP form. Along with the coordinator, the patient goes to the physician, that is principal investigator. To the investigator they go, investigator sees all the tests which were done at the screening time, and everything is fine, they will write there that we can give the investigational product to this person, and these tests, what as per the protocol, what are to be done at the day 1 visit, do it. If no test is there, fine, they can go with the medication of IP medication, they can go with it, like that the investigator will write. If certain complaints are by the patient is there, they will consider it, they will do the diagnosis, or they will write the medication as well. And those also you have to take the Xerox copy of the OP, keep it in the documents. Now after the patient, now what is the new task now here for coordinator is do the randomization. Now randomization is nothing but, see, sponsor will give you a lot, some quantity of investigational product, they are numbered, they are not named, okay, they are numbered. So and along with that they will give you test kits as well, okay, right. So now there is every sponsor will have a particular software. Medidata Rave software is very much used for the multicentric trials. Now comes the software. See, today nowadays, if you get an experience of used for the multicentric trials, wherever. So if you get an experience of Medidata Rev, it will be a one step ahead. You will be in compared to others. I have gone after when I was been as a CRC, when I was going for an interview of CRA. Though my experience was less that time, candidates which were there with me who have 5 years experience as CRCs, but the problem was that they were been doing as a CRC in the Apollo AIMS Apollo, like that. So generally what happens is the physician then themselves initiate the studies, they themselves maintain their internal softwares. So because of that, uh, if you go out, if you want to go to other place like as a CRA, they that time they will there will be a disadvantage. If the company requires that this software experience you should have, this department experience you should have, if you don't have that, though you have 4-5 years experience, that is one disadvantage. So just I am trying to have you make aware that today's trend is Medidata Ray. For most of the big companies, they are using this software. It is very confidential, it is very nice, very user friendly. See, like we have in our phones, certain apps will be there, right? So those apps, once you open, when you try and go on, you will get it. Similarly, these softwares are also same. See, the software, they are used for, I am telling, for randomization, for screening of the subjects, and for case report forms filing, for in making sure that the data of receiving the kits, receiving the test kits from the sponsor, yes, yeah, our site has received them, and invent that if you have to tell the sponsor that we have so and so kits. If these many kits are about to be finished by this day, please give us more kit. All this to interact with the sponsor. This is used to even screen. We are using this, that so and so subject ID. We will not be using the names of the subjects, we will be using subject IDs. We will be using subject numbers, okay, subject numbers, protocol number. Then each protocol you will go, then you add the subject. If it is screen, you add the subject, demographics, name, age, weight, all the vitals, everything. That is a case report form. So case report forms are nothing but vital form, medication history form, pregnancy form, if that study requires that, those forms, demographic forms, and so many forms will be there. You have to fill that. For each visit, certain forms has to be filled. Now there is, every sponsor will have a particular software where the data has to be entered, subject data, like a screening ID, screening date, subject ID, study number, and then when you enter a randomized, a particular number will come. That number of the drug, investigational drug, will be there in a lot provided to that site. The coordinator will search for that numbered drug. They will take that bottle, they will go to the patient, they will inform the patient how to take, how many days one can have to take, and after when you have to come, you should not waste it, you should be in compliance, you should take regularly. If any problems, please call us, like that. So all those things are there. So now here, this is called interactive web response system. Here this is electronically, you are interacting, right? Electronically you are randomized. This process of getting a drug, new drug number, and whether because we don't know whether it is a, this is a blinded study, right? We don't know whether it is a real investigational drug or it is a placebo. So it is a blinded study. So this randomization is done to minimize the bias. So after this, that also the receipt of randomized drug, that so and so number of drug was came through randomization, one copy will be there, that Xerox also you have to keep in the patient file. So like this, after randomization, when patient goes, you have to write the source writing. Source writing is nothing but from the time, the moment the patient came to the hospital to the moment they left, what all events happened, you have to write there. You have to write the subject ID, date of visit, and sometimes unscheduled visits will also happen. Why it happened now, unscheduled visit, log forms will be there, everything you have to be making sure they are present in the source documents, patient files. Okay, so after these, so like this, the screening enrollment happened. If the screening is failed, that patient cannot get into the study, that also will be there. Okay, then subject level investigational product status log will be there, like this subject was given this random, this I number bottle, with this many tablets. When they came to the next visit, how many tablets remain in the bottle and how many they have taken, but what date, like this forms will be there. Okay, you have to maintain them, to update them accordingly. In between this process, interim visit will happen by the representative of the sponsor, monitor. Now the sponsor can either directly be interacting with the site, or the sponsor can keep a third party or a vendor to take part or take out certain activities of their study. Okay, most of the time in multicentric trial, certain vendors will be there, that is third party will be there to take care of those activities. So those vendors, from their vendor one representative will be coming, they will be auditing. Now before that they will set interim monitoring confirmation letter, they will send to the site. The site will say yes, this time, this moment we will be free, you can come, you can check our documentation and all. So site confirmation letter after you get, then the monitor will come, monitor will see all the documentation. If anything is missing, they will inform coordinator to update that. They go, they send the site monitoring report to the sponsor as well as to the site. Now the site person has to follow up, do that. Then the monitor will send site monitoring visit follow up report, that whether you have done all the things or not. So next time again when they go, so these will be, why I am stressing on the documents as well. So this process will happen, monitor will come, they will see all, they will show, make sure that the study activities are done, conducted morally, not any misconduct is done, and as per the protocol is being done, and the documents are maintained as per the study sponsor which was told before. Okay, so those, then after the site activities are finished, the enrollment, everything is finished, site closeout visit will be there, that time the final monitoring will be there, and it will be closed. And now after that also the investigational product, the kits, whatever is left, how to be discarded, and all guidelines will be there. Coordinator have to make sure that those are discarded as per the guidelines. Okay, whether they have to be sent back, revert back, or they have been discarded. So like this one will be doing. Now along with being in touch with the patient, with the physician, with the manager, they have to make sure that the patient, the kits, test kits, the samples, and the inventory of the drugs are well maintained. The temperature of the drug, which if any is specified, is well maintained by the at the site level. So now I am talking about one such study only. Imagine if a coordinator is doing these all activities for multiple studies, how busy they will be, right? One patient came at same day with for a different study, another patient came on the same day with another study. The protocols will differ. Coordinator have to be very clear, they should not get confused, they should be well versed with the inclusion process of that protocol, one protocol and the other protocol, without merging both two. Okay, so this hectic work will be there. So and another thing, now I think majority of the coordinators, they will be, if the samples has to be sent to the central lab, they have to do centrifugation as well. I also did that. So for centrifugation at certain minutes, rotation per minutes you will be doing, and then you will be separating the sample, either a serum, plasma or a blood, into the vials. You will label them, stickers will be provided by the sponsor, you will label them, you will write the subject ID number, study name, date at which the sample was collected, and that also will be done. But I think for few hospitals certain person is assigned to do those activities, I think so. But most of the colleagues which I know from other side, they used to do by themselves. So that thing will be there. So I have discussed from A to Z everything what clinical research coordinator does. And yeah, in between at the site some inspection happens, hospital inspections happens, right? So to check the quality and all. So for that, ethics committee coordinator will take care of all that thing. Okay, not the clinical research coordinator. So if any doubts you have, Other than these, if any you have, please comment in the comments section below. I will be very glad to share my views and share my knowledge with you if any conflict happen. Now, okay, another thing I want to share is about informed consent form. See, informed consent form will be multilinguistic here in India. Okay, sponsor will know the demography of the site. They know what type of language, in different language patients can come to this hospital. They will already design that. Okay, if okay, so they will be translating the original informed consent form, and so this is called translation of informed consent form. Then for example, English to Hindi, translated informed consent form will be there. If the person is they know Hindi, then in Hindi informed consent form will give. Now, back translated informed consent form will also be there. What does that mean? English to Hindi translated, the original source was English. This Hindi informed ICF is called translated ICF. Now, from Hindi ICF, it is translated to Telugu. So, the translation of Telugu ICF is done from the already translated source, right? This translation is called back translate. Now, so all these documents of original ICF, translated ICF, translator certificate, back translated ICFs, all this has to be kept in the documentation, and in between whenever there are protocol changes happens, the protocol amendments happen, the protocol amended protocol will be sent to the sites. At the site, the coordinator has to update themselves regarding what are the new changes done in the protocol and work accordingly. Make sure it is with the copy of it sent to the ethics committee. They got the sign from ethics committee also, and the update, if the protocol is amended, automatically the ICF will be amended. So new ICF has to be signed to the by the patient. They will be informed what are the new changes. These things also they have to make sure they are well versed with those things, and in between they have to remind the patient by calling them, did you fill the diary? If you not, if you forgot, please do it. And 2 days before or 3 days before, depending on their location, you have to tell the patient before itself that see, you are visit at this day, make yourself free at that day and please come and visit. If you are not able to do that, come 1 day before, otherwise protocol deviation will happen. Okay, if you are not right, so for that also the coordinator have to write the protocol deviation form, write in writing in the source why that deviation happened, and certain deviation because of the site if happens, note to file, that is a form has to be filled up, and that has to be kept in the documents in the dossier. In next video I will be talking about what exactly are the documents available in the source. See, this dossier, each study sponsor will say some name. Okay, this dossier is called as either as a pharmacy binder, regulatory binder, or investigator site file. They will call with multiple names. Okay, so next video we will talk about what are the documents which are present in the investigator site file or the source documents. So okay, see you next time.